What's up, guys? Thank you for tuning in to the Uncommon Mindset podcast. Today, I'm joined by the one and only Modestas Bukauskas. I'll just give you a brief background on who he is. Modestas, the Baltic Gladiator Bukauskas, is a former cage warrior light heavyweight champion who now fights for the biggest organization in the world, the UFC. This Lithuanian gladiator not only won his first UFC fight, but also managed to get the bonus on the night. He has a professional mixed martial art record of 11 wins and only 3 losses. This guy is no joke, and you will see him climb his way up the light heavyweight division of the UFC. Thank you so much for being on the podcast today.
No worries, mate. Absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me on.
No worries. Yeah, so I just want to take it all the way back. So can you just talk to me about like your upbringing, like when did you start mixed martial arts and stuff like that?
Yeah, so basically, I was actually born in Lithuania, so that's where the Lithuanian heritage comes from. Unfortunately, the accent didn't quite follow suit because obviously I moved here when I was 3 years old to the UK. And then, yeah, so my dad was a no holds barred Soviet Union heavyweight champion, which for those of you that don't know, no holds barred was pretty much like the early days of MMA before it became mainstream. Before everything sort of like came together and like formed like the UFC and everything. So my dad was a pretty tough motherfucker, if you want to put it that way. Yeah, so when I was younger, I mean, my parents, they brought me up very well. I had a really good like sort of childhood and everything. But then about 5 years old, my dad goes, "Oh, like check out these cool little kicks and stuff like that." And I got quite interested. Obviously, like for a kid, like anything that's like brand new or flashy or whatever, you're like instantly like amazed by it. And I was like, "Oh yeah, look at this." And then like 2 weeks later, my dad goes, "All right, now we must train hard." And I was like, "Oh great, here we go. This is it. This is it. Fun time's over. Now it's getting all serious." And yeah, so I started off like doing kickboxing quite seriously. I became a 4-time British kickboxing champion for 4 different age groups, pretty much. And yeah, like my dad also taught me sambo. I've done judo for quite a while. I got a bronze medal at an international tournament. That was like one of my best achievements in terms of judo. I think my sister was always actually a little bit better than me at judo than I was, but it was mainly because I was always quite heavy for my age. So I was always fighting guys that were like, at least 2 or 3 years older. But yeah, so pretty much sambo, kickboxing was like sort of like the starting point. And then, yeah, I actually took a bit of a break away from martial arts. I didn't train it seriously from about 12 years old onwards, even though my last kickboxing championship I won when I was 14. So I wasn't even training for it like specifically or properly. Like I was dedicating myself to other sports. I actually went to America to play basketball for 2 years. So and then I wanted to try and get a basketball scholarship to go and play in college, and I actually ended up playing American football and all sorts of things. So it's just me trying to find my feet. But I think having that hiatus away from fighting sort of gave me the love back for it. And then when I was 18, the decision was, did I want to continue and go on to college? Did I want to go home and start training MMA again with my dad and everything? And then, yeah, from that point onwards, I never looked back. Just came back home when I was 18 and then fully infused myself in the world of MMA. Obviously, having had that background previously with kickboxing and sambo, so that carried me forward throughout my whole career.
Nice. Wow, that's amazing. It's good that you found mixed martial arts again, obviously, once you got back. Yeah, that's amazing. So in your previous fight, you fought Jimmy Crute, and
Yeah.
that is a huge fight as well, obviously. And he did knock you out in the first round. Obviously, everyone goes through a loss, of course. How do you bounce back from something like that?
I think I've been through some very tough situations in my life. I think I've always had to face some sort of adversity, not only like athletically, but socially and academically. I've been through so many like really like stressful, hard situations, and the thing that's always brought me through everything was just working my ass off and just dedicating myself. So I've never had a problem about working hard and doing everything that is necessary to sort of achieve any goal that I wanted to go out there, even though there was all these like sort of roadblocks placed in front of me. But I'm pretty sure I've mentioned this on quite a lot of other interviews that I've had. But when I had my first 2 losses, I mean, before that, prior to that, I had 4 straight wins, had three finishes out of those 4. I went to go and train with Jon Jones. I was on top of the world. I was like, skill set wise, I then went to go and fight a very extremely experienced opponent. But, I felt me having done all these rounds with Jon Jones and, having all these guys like saying that I was this and that. And then, me obviously training and doing everything right and doing everything possible to be the best. I thought, nothing could stop me. And then, when you had 2 losses in a row, and then you had to sort of take a step back and think, what actually sort of went wrong. So I actually ended up from those losses, then straight away, I didn't want to think about anything else other than I need to get back in the gym and figure out what the hell has gone wrong here. And we actually did change like quite a lot of things. Nutritionally, we realized that I was quite malnourished, which eventually led to my move up to light heavyweight. And we added in strength and conditioning, which we never done before. So my dad added that aspect into it, where he took complete control over my strength and conditioning. We did boxing sparring, which sort of gave me like aggression and stuff like that. So there's a lot of things that I learned from my last 2 losses, and then I faced even more adversity after that when I got injured and stuff like that. And it's almost like I feel like I've had almost like a mirror image of what happened back then, which was 3 years ago now. And this only happened obviously just recently, having a loss to Jimmy Crute. I feel like every loss, like John Kavanagh says, you either win or learn. So I feel like every loss, I take some valuable insight and lessons from it. And but the main thing that is the most promising thing about having that loss actually is that it wasn't due to a lack of skill set. It was due to more of a lack of mindset and a lack of aggressiveness and approach to training and approach to the fight. For the longest time, I've been facing high quality grapplers and wrestlers who are wanting to take me down. And, I'd been working so hard on being able to get back up to my feet and mainly on defending stuff. So as you saw in the Jimmy Crute fight, he went in for one of his, sort of better takedowns, and I managed to stop it. And, credit to him, he had an amazing, very well-timed shot, but I was able to stop. So everything that I've been working on in the fight had worked absolutely amazing, especially like everything to how I needed to. But then certain things, not to say that I neglected it, but I didn't look into so deeply into it, and I didn't work so much on offense. I was working more on defense. If you're having that defensive mindset, you're automatically going to be on the back foot. You're automatically not going to be looking to attack as much. You're going to be waiting for your opportune moment. And, unfortunately, I didn't have enough time to feel my way into the round. Like it happened at a very good moment. Like I said, a very well-timed punch with something that he had been practicing a million times. So there's a lot of things that I learned. Actually, talking to Jimmy Crute gave me another insight. This is why sometimes it's good having losses, and to guys who are cool, like me and him were cool. Like, we had a beer afterwards and everything. He's a good guy and everything. And I know he's going to go far in the division. Yeah, so like one thing he was saying was that, strategy wise, they'd been looking at my other fights. And it's funny to see that although I've improved massively since, my first Cage Warriors fight to now and stuff like that, there were some tendencies that I had, which he exploited. So that was one of the things that I sort of took away from that fight, which is that you need to strategize properly. I mean, yes, things may change in the fight, and that's down to just your initiative and how you're able to adapt to a given situation. So, but the main thing is that the tendencies will most likely remain the same. That is true of any fighter. Yes, they evolve, but they will have some things that they try and do most of the time because it works for them. So that's one thing. We're taking strategy very very importantly in this fight, in the next one that I've got. Another thing is just mindset. You got to have a mindset that is needed to succeed. I've always had the belief in myself. I've always done the visualization. I've done this kind of thing, but you need to have a mindset of aggression. I think some people can go in there with a mindset of competing, but for me to perform at my best, it's always when I've been in like a very dangerous or scary situation. So I've added in more like boxing training and boxing sparring, because those guys don't mess about, especially in this country. In the UK, as you know, there's more wars that go down in the sparring ring than it is in the real ring. So that's something that I've sort of added to. I've like I said, I've learned so many things. It's just, like I say, mainly mindset and having more of an offensive mindset. You can work on defense all you like, but and obviously the best the best form of offense comes from your defense, but you do still have to concentrate on the offensive side. So I think adding all of that all together is going to make me a much more dangerous fighter. I can really feel in myself the way that I'm approaching my training and the way I'm approaching certain things. It's like, you know, in certain situations, the fear's still there, but the aggression is now more. So it's making me pull out more of my skill set. And yeah, and obviously I've got very good coaches, and they're leading me always in the right direction. But I feel like the loss here was probably the best thing that would have happened to me, because I'd rather it happen now than later on down the line when it's important. Some guys go on massive winning streaks, get hyped up massively, and then they lose, and then it takes away their shine. But you know, having lost to a high level opponent early on in my UFC career, this is probably, you know, I'm going to look back on it in a couple of years thinking that's the best thing that would have happened to me, because then it's getting me prepared to fight the top of the top. I want to be able to beat the cream of the crop. And I definitely feel now, with the training that I have and the way things are going now, and I'm going into my next fight, that is what's going to happen.
That's amazing. Like, honestly, it's so inspiring just listening to you, because that mindset is amazing. Like, you don't look at it as a loss, you look at it as like a learning curve, which is incredible. And I did see in your pre-interview, I believe, for the fight against Jimmy, you did mention, you said you like putting yourself in places where people think you are going to lose, and you know, you're not afraid of that. So that's just, the mindset is incredible. You did mention. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, sorry. I was just going to add to what you're saying there, just about, you know, yeah, putting yourself in a situation where people think that you're going to lose. It's like, I've noticed that in my life, when I put myself in more stressful like situations, I sort of embrace it more. Like even going on that show, Take Me Out and stuff like that. For me, that was kind of a big step outside my social sort of comforts, you know, like all these things is just like sort of, you know, going in front of loads of people and doing all these things and not caring what people think, and like that's what brings out my personality, brings out the best out of me. So always put myself in those situations, I find will always bring out the best in me. And like I said, with these added little things that we had from the last fight, it's just going to bring out even more in my next fight.
No, of course, yeah, amazing. And you did previously touch on, obviously, you went and trained with Jon Jones. What was that experience like? Because you did say that he is one of your role models, right?
Yeah, he's definitely my idol. I've been watching him for years, and seeing what he did at such a young age was absolutely amazing. I thought it was quite funny. I went to Jackson Wink the first time. Oh, I can't remember what year it was now. It seems like ages away now, like the sands of time ago. But the first time I went there, I trained when the gym just sort of opened and they just had the facility and it wasn't fully finished yet. Even the second time around, it wasn't fully finished, but they'd already done a lot more to renovate it and do stuff to it. But the first time I remember I went out there, I was training mainly doing sparring with Andrei Arlovsky, who's an amazing fellow. I really like that guy. Amazing fighter as well. He actually ended up then being generous enough to pay for me to stay another week just to help him train and stuff like that, which was again a very humbling and amazing experience. And then the second time around, obviously the coaches already knew who I was. You know, there'd been word about me going through the gym a little bit, not like to a massive extent, but I think there must have been something told about my striking or whatever. I remember walking in the first day and seeing Jon Jones. It's like, you know, seeing your idol and someone that, you know, you sort of been looking up to in the sport, just walking on the mat in front of you. You're like, what the hell? Is this even real? Do you know what I mean? It was like, I was starstruck, but at the same time, I'm like, I can't wait to train and learn and get as much as I can out of it. And already he came up to me and said, oh yeah, what's your name? This, that, blah, blah, blah. And then, you know, we started moving around, and then, you know, and then next thing you know, just things developed more, and we started training more, and then we ended up doing like loads of sparring rounds together and jiu-jitsu, and it really motivated me because he really valued like my skill set. And although there was still a lot of holes in my game at that time, which obviously he exposed whenever we did sparring, it made me just want to work even harder to really improve those aspects. And then by the end of it, you know, he had seen that I'd improved a lot and stuff like that. And that gave me a lot of motivation and inspiration, seeing that the greatest of all time is giving you props for your game and how much I was dedicated and I just wanted to get better. But yeah, training with him just showed me that I can compete with the best guys in the world. And I was at a very sort of young age. Like I knew, give me some time, give me some time to work on my skill set. I'm going to go and compete, and I'm going to compete at this level and be competing with the best guys in the world. But he was a very nice character, very generous, very insightful. He always likes to have a laugh in training, but I love to see his dedication as well. And it again gave me a sense of inspiration to know that I'm also willing to do the things that he's always willing to do, the extra mile, willing to do the extra sit-ups and this and that, which people don't often see in the gym. I mean, he's talked on interviews how before certain fights he wasn't as committed, but the time when I was there, he seemed very on point, and like I said, it was just very, very inspiring. Just the fact that I was able to go out there and get recognition from one of the pretty much the greatest fighter of all time really meant a lot to me. But it also just showed me that I am at that level. I just got to believe myself, keep training hard, and eventually everything will unfold. So it was an amazing experience.
That's amazing. Oh, wow. Like I'm a bit jealous. No, that's amazing. And what goals have you set yourself now? What's obviously you got a fight coming up March the 27th, and I'm so excited to actually watch that fight. I really believe that you're gonna show people what you are actually made of, and obviously a lot of people know that right by watching you. But what are your goals? Let's say, for example, you win your next fight. Like, what do you want next? Like, what goals have you set yourself?
I want to fight 5 times this year. I've said that before. I mean, guys, I see a lot of guys that are inactive, but for me, I want to climb my way up the ladder. I want to be, within the top 10 fighters at the end of this year. I want to be fighting for a belt. So I already wrote it down on my board since the loss to Jimmy Crute from about November of last year. I wrote my 2-year objective was to be a UFC world champion. So from that point, 2020 November to 2022 November, I want to be the UFC light heavyweight champion, and I believe that that's the road to get there. You need to beat everyone at the end of the day. There's so many guys in the division, and I'm up for all challenges. I know guys are all about calling people out and stuff like that, but in the light heavyweight division, you got to earn your spot. So whoever they're going to put me up against, that's who I want to go out and take out. And I know that Michal is ranked very highly, obviously being a very good fighter himself, having a couple of wins in the UFC himself. So a win over him will obviously give me that trajectory that I want and need. But at the end of the day, you got to keep proving yourself. So if that's a fight that I need to go and prove myself, give me another fight to go and prove myself. And then shortly after that, I want to be fighting guys in the top 15, working my way up those rankings, fighting the best fighters out there. And then, once I get into the top 15, and I know somewhere down the line that Jimmy Crute rematch will happen. At the end of the day, he's a very young fighter, a very skilled fighter, and he's going on to do big things himself. And I'm very happy for him. And like I say, when our paths will probably cross again, because I'm full motive and full steam ahead going, like I said, to go towards the top, and that's obviously his goal. And I'm sure somewhere across that timeline we're going to go and meet each other again, and it's going to make for an amazing journey for both of us. But obviously I'm not at that stage yet to rematch him, but obviously that's what I'm going to work to do. I'm going to work my way back up, and I'm sure that when I get into that top 10, he'll be sitting right there as well, and then that's when we can make that sort of thing happen. But man, I want to have 5 fights this year. I want to be the UFC champion within 2 years. That's literally like my main goal, I think, is just to see gradual progressions in my game over the course of every single fight. I need to bring myself out. This is why I've trained a little bit with an old school mentality of, my dad used to tell me to throw my flashy stuff. He used to tell me to do this, and I've sort of been holding back because we're fighting at the top. It doesn't matter, we're fighting on the top level. I can throw on those top level guys. The point is you got to go and do it. So it's a case for me just to be myself. Like when I go out there now, it's a case of I've literally got to go out there and put those skill set on show. Why have I not done it? I even feel like in my last couple of fights, even leading back to 2019, why the hell have I not shown everything? It's like I show snippets, and I feel like I've almost not given the fans everything that I know I'm capable of. You know what I mean? So I need to make sure that I go out there and do everything that I'm capable of. And I'm in the mindset now to be able to do that, and I'm not afraid anymore of doing that. And like I say, that will all be on show on March 27th. So I'm really excited, and the training's been going amazing. So I can't wait to go and do it.
I can't wait to watch it. No, honestly, it's a great card as well, right? It's who's the main event again on it?
Stipe and Ngannou.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, even to be on a card with such amazing athletes, and to have those guys even in the same vicinity as me, like having them walking about. I mean, even Jimmy Crute, funny enough, is fighting on the same card, fighting Johnny Walker, amazing fight as well. You got Ortega and Volkanovski, so you got some amazing fights. I mean, even Tyron Woodley. So it's like even seeing the legends of the game that are going to be around the same place as me, fighting on the same card. Them putting that, it's just going to motivate me even more to want to put it out on the line, because listen, you don't just want to impress. You want to obviously prove everything to yourself. But you want to impress people. You want to go out and put on a show, and then have all these people talking. Like, I want that. I want the attention. I want these sort of things. I think some people sort of shy away from saying that they want attention, because I think it maybe looks a bit narcissistic, or like everything about. But I mean, come on, who doesn't love a bit of attention, like people knowing about you, wanting to get out there? And I know it sounds crazy, but even on my whiteboard I have at home with like all my goals, like one of my goals is I want to have 200k Instagram followers. Like it's not a shameful thing to want to have people interested in you. And I've always had it in my life where I've just been pushed to the side, like that guy who's never really looked at, or they don't believe in him. And now I'm getting a little glimpse of the spotlight, and it's just like, I just want more. So the only way I'm going to get that is if I go out and put on a show. Yeah. And coming from where, like I said, I was never the popular kid. I was never the one with the girls or in the cool groups or this, that. I was always like that kid who's sort of, I was doing a lot of things on my own, really, to now getting a bit more attention and stuff like that. I know it's only just been recently. It's very nice to finally get a change. And it's like, I was even watching a film the other day about a kid who had a facial deformity, and like things with bullying and stuff like that. It's crazy, because like I want everyone, it's almost like you want everyone to have that equal thing. You want everyone to be cool with everyone. Do you know what I mean? You want everyone to sort of come up together and have like that camaraderie and stuff like that. And it's a shame that you don't see that all the time in society. But yeah, man, like I say, I want to get out there, and I want to get noticed, and I want to make all my friends and family and everyone proud. And especially, make my country proud as well.
Of course, no, I like literally you're like someone who I like, the friends I have now, like my head coach is Ash Williams, my jiu-jitsu coach, and he's like, he's literally ranked like number 4 or something in the world. Like, he's so good. And just being around people like him, and like my MMA coach, who's Aidan James, who fights for Brave. Like, just being around them, like, you're someone who's like them. Like, I love people like that, because the energy that you put out is amazing. And honestly, like, people like that do deserve the best of the best, of course. What's like one thing that you think is like your greatest achievement so far?
I think it's probably a mix between two things. So the first one, I think, if you're asking what's like sort of one of the best things that have ever happened in my career, I think at the time when I won the Cage Warriors belt the first time, when I beat Marvin Hamlet, that was a big win for me, because like I said, everyone just counted me out. I was like a 4-1 underdog. Cage Warriors they just gave it to me as almost like I'm thrown to the meat to the lion sort of thing. It's like, here we go. We'll give him a title shot. We'll get rid of him, and then we'll see you later. And do you know what? At the end of the day, I can't be upset at that, because they gave me the opportunity. So listen, if you want to go and like, you want this opportunity, we're going to give it to you. It's up to you to go and do it. And that gave me a hell of a load of motivation. So on one side you can think of it, oh well, obviously there was a clear favorite and a clear person that they was wanted to win, but at the same time they gave me that opportunity, so I'm extremely thankful, grateful that they did give me that opportunity, because they could have easily said no, but they did. I'd had the wins, I had the credentials, and they gave it to me. So I've got to give Cage Warriors a massive thank you, obviously, for giving me the platform to be able to showcase my skills and prove everyone wrong. But in that fight, I'd visualize it every single day. Like literally every single day, I was just driving on the way back, thinking about the reaction I'll get from my friends when I came out with the belt, like the reaction of when I finished the fight and this and that. And like in my head, I could see it so clearly. And then when it finally happened, and I even remember I was visualizing just sitting on my car with the belt sitting on the seat and what feeling I would have. And then next thing you know, it happened like the next day when I was driving to the gym and show like my friends and everything. It was mad. Even just having it wrapped around my waist, I was like, I had to keep pinching myself because I'm like, is this even real? That was one, and it was especially at the time when like literally most of the people that were close to me were all there. Like most of all my close people were there. So to see them all there and like celebrating with me and like to see how proud they were of me, it was like a really, really special moment in my career. And even just my dad, to see him and like to be able to put the belt on his shoulder and stuff like that, like, it's an accumulation of hard work, dedication, all the time and effort that we'd spent trying to get to just that point, which was the pinnacle at that point. That was already the calling card that I could make that UFC dream a reality, which will go on to the next thing, which was probably an amazing moment in my career, which was winning my debut and winning that 50,000. And I wrote on my board that I was going to give it to my parents, and I was able to do that. So that was another big thing. I know a big thing for me is giving back to people that are given to you. And if you look at my dad, my stepmom, my mum and stuff like that, my dad was the first person when I was injured. I had lost a sponsor, no job, no money, broke up with a girlfriend, 2 losses. Like everything was just at the bottom, the worst it could possibly be. Me sitting in my room, like crying and stuff like that. And next thing you know, my dad's just always telling me, like, Modestas, you're going to be a champion one day. You just got to believe in yourself. You are really good. Like, I know you're good. I do believe in you. You just got to believe in yourself. And you keep picking me up every single day. And you keep motivating me to do certain things mentally that I'll just keep coming back. And I'm like, do you know what? I'm going to do this. I'm going to come back. I'm going to come back stronger. And then that motivation to keep to prove to myself and to prove to everyone else that I'm not a quitter. I'm not you can't write me off. Like I'm gonna come back. To have my dad tell me that every day, it really meant the world to me, to be able to give at least a little something. And that's only the start. Like now it's like I want to give much more. So that was another special moment. Obviously, winning your UFC debut in front of loads, in front of the world and everything. And then next thing you know, just being able to help your family out. So it's just a sign of what's to come. Like that's what I want to do. And not only that, like I'll have a massive stable of people that are always helping me, like my physio, Leanne, Distinct Physiotherapy. If anyone's gonna go check her out, like I just had an operation on my knee. She helped me before my title defense. I dislocated it 3 weeks before the fight. I thought I was going to have to pull out. She said, Modestas, don't worry, we're going to get you sorted out. She told me everything I needed to do and everything. Had bursitis before my debut. She's literally like helped me so much. And I've got such an amazing team of people, like my training partners, my coaches, everyone. Like, mate, it's this journey has really been amazing, and I can't wait for what's to unfold even more down the line in my career. But another thing that's just really exciting is obviously the amount of improvements I'm making. And yeah, I'm just ready to go and make a highlight reel filled of things in my career, because I don't believe I've fully done that yet. Like I feel like there's a lot more to come, and I believe that this is the turn of the tide to be able to do that.
That's amazing. No, it's nice that you actually, caring for those around you that have helped you and supported you. I feel like when you give back to people, more great things come to you. So it's amazing that you're doing that and you're helping your parents, of course. That's absolutely amazing. No, honestly, like, thank you so much for being on the podcast, Modestas. Honestly, I appreciate your time. Like, just the person you are, you're such an uncommon person. It's perfect to have you on the Uncommon Mindset podcast. Just last question now before I let you go. What's one thing that you would recommend, let's say, to that little kid that's you know, wanting to do something? It can be MMA, it can be anything. Like, what advice would you give them?
Well, one thing I would say is that obviously when you're trying to find out your passion or something that you really want to do, most of the time it's something that's drawn to you straight away from early on. Like obviously at the beginning I was sort of, I guess you could say, forced into martial arts, but at the same time it became something that I just naturally just took on. It just became a natural talent of mine. So I think when you're early on and when you're a kid and stuff like that, when there's something that you gravitate towards, to you find a particular liking to, just hold on to that and cling and cling on to that and really try and develop it as much as you can, because I think like that's the best way, like for you to start early and then to keep on it. One thing as well is like I could say so many things for someone who's young, like, you know, coming up and stuff like that. But these are just obviously from personal experience. I mean, you could say I had a bit of a hiatus away from, you know, because I wanted to try and do other things. But it was because obviously like I said, I was pushed into training and I was made to do stuff all the time. And like you think as a kid, you're thinking, why the hell am I not being able to play my video games and just hang out with my friends? I've got to sit in here and bloody train. Like, why am I doing this? But just know that all the dedication, effort, time that you put in early is just going to carry on over into your life, because now it's easy for me. It's not a hard thing to do. Some people find it hard to even diet for 2 days. And for me, it's like absolutely, obviously, yeah, it's part of my job, but certain things, like if you know you have to do something, now I do it. Like that's something. If it's geared towards my goal, I do it no matter what, no matter if I feel like it or not. So finding that passion early on, like finding something that you cling on to that you really enjoy, do something that you really, really, really enjoy. That's something that you just naturally, it's always going to be on your mind. There's never a problem with being obsessive with something, because that's what's going to naturally build your skill set and stuff like that. And it's just like, yeah, just keep going, keep your dedication, keep your faith. Even when things go wrong, you just got to find ways around it. I think that's what shows your true character and builds your character, builds you as a human being. It's like making sure that when things don't go your way, you keep trying to find ways to overcome the obstacle. It comes from all the success stories from anywhere, like from any parts of life, like Will Smith and, you know, 50 Cent, all these guys, they face all these like really bad problems, but they're always able to overcome it. They still stay stuck towards their goal. They're obsessive. They keep their faith. They work hard. And they ended up achieving it. So, you know, just fighting through adversity, making sure you just really, really love what you're doing, and just stay dedicated and stay on the path. Don't let anything take you off that course, because at the end of the day, I think one big thing is as well that people are looking for the short-term satisfaction rather than long-term gain. So you've always got to look at it as, do you know what I'm doing today is going to help me for my tomorrow, for the day after, and for years down the line. It's just an accumulative effort over a period of time that will get you towards achieving the highest of the high. And never, one thing is never be afraid to dream too big, because anything's achievable, anything's possible. You just got to put your mind to it, train hard, work hard, do what you got to do, and then soon it will come into reality.
Incredible. It's incredible. Honestly, it's amazing. No, thank you. Thank you so much. I hope that, you know, people do listen to this, and, you know, the value that you provide is incredible. Like, I feel like someone's going to listen to it and they're just going to go out and go for a run or something, you know. Yeah, what I'll do, guys, I'll leave Modestas's social media down below so you can go and check him out. Like I mentioned, he's fighting on March the 27th. It's going to be incredible just to see you, you know, showcase all your talents, all your skills. So I'm super excited for that. But yeah, like, thank you so much again, Modestas. I really appreciate your time.
Oh, no worries, mate. Thank you so much for having me on again. Like I say, it's an absolute pleasure talking to you. I really appreciate having me on. Like it means the world to me to be able to talk to people, to be able to connect with people, and man, just get my story out there, and like have a good time in the process. So yeah, absolutely amazing, man. Thank you so much.
Incredible. Thank you.